A worm farm is a great way to compost all the green waste coming from your home, your school or your business. It's easy to keep and it gives you lots of yummy worm poo for your garden, which your plants will just love.
If you're not feeling that creative and you don't want to make one, you can buy a pre-made worm farm from your local garden centre. They normally work in a layered drainage system and they're made out of recycled plastic, which is good for the environment, and your worms will have a beautiful, happy home.
However, we're feeling a little bit creative today, so we found some things in our community which we found for free, and we're going to make our own worm farm.
You'll need 2 polyester boxes, organic compost, a wet towel, some fly wire, wet newspaper, food scraps and some worms.
This time of year, fruit and veg markets are piled high with these polystyrene boxes that they get their broccoli delivered in. Most polystyrene is really hard to recycle and it just ends up in landfill. By finding an alternative use to it, we can reuse what products we already have in the community, and today we're going to be turning ours into a composting worm farm.
To start off, we need some holes at the bottom of our box so that water can drain through, because if it builds up, our worms are going to drown. We also need some holes in the top of our lid so that we can get plenty of fresh air to circulate through and make our worms really happy.
What we're going to do is we're going to put some fly wire at the bottom just so all the worms don't fall through the holes that we've made here. Now you need some kind of material that's not a natural fibre, otherwise that will compost down. This is just fly wire that I found in my dad's shed. Don't tell him.
For our next layer, we're going to need a nice heavy thick layer with some fibrous material. So you can either use some wet newspaper that I've had soaked for a few minutes, or some coconut fibre that you can get from your local garden centre for about $2 to $3 a block. If you didn't want to buy anything though, you can use any sort of compost or, like I said, some nice heavy newspaper. So we can put that in for our next layer.
Okay, so the next layer, what we're going to be doing is putting lots of compost in here. This is the layer that the worms are going to live in. Now I've gone for some organic matter because I'm an organic kind of fairy.
Our local coffee shop was going to throw away this coffee, but we can use it for our compost bin. It's really nutritious, so we can just sprinkle a whole lot of that on there and that'll be some nice food for our worms.
Next layer, I'm going to be putting the worms into the worm farm. Now these are composting worms that have been donated to us by another worm farm in the community. Worms will breed as long as they have enough food and enough room. So what you can do is make your own worm farm, build up your worms, and then you can make another one for somebody else. So we're ready, let's put them in.
Ooh. Wow, look at all those worms! Okay, now we want to get these worms covered as quick as possible because they don't like sunlight. So if we just put some compost on top, keep them nice and safe away from the sunlight. Next layer, we're going to need some yummy food for our worms. So I've got some old lettuce leaves here from a local school that would have gone into landfill if I hadn't have got it. So we can use this in our compost and our worm farm, layer that on top. Any food scraps will do as well, so when you're making your food, don't throw stuff away, you can use your food scraps to feed your worms.
There's lots of things that you can do to keep your worms nice and fat and healthy. One main thing that you need to do is make sure that they don't get sunlight on them. They're really sensitive, so put them in the shade, especially during the Australian summer.
Remember to keep your worm farm nice and moist. You don't want to have too much water in there because they might drown, but you don't want them to dry out either, so try and keep a good balance. What you can also do, if you've got a second polystyrene box, like so, you can put it underneath and you can catch all of the amazing worm juice that comes out, and that is amazing fertilizer for your garden. And once you've done all that, it's pretty much it. Your worm farm is complete. Pop the lid on and you're ready to go.
Now if you'd like more information on how you can build your own worm farm, head to the ecofaeries website and click on the regenerate page. We have a step-by-step guide so how you can make your own little composting machines in your garden.